Well, hey there. Welcome back to Satisfactory for Dummies. I'm Joe Mama, and I'll be walking you through today's episode as the dummies teach the dummies. Not that you're dummies, but you get the idea. Anyway, if you notice, I'm farting around the sky right now because I am sporting a jetpack. One of the things you can research in the MAM, actually, is a jetpack. And you can go to the MAM and figure out how that's done. Not terribly difficult. Basically, it means taking some of the resources that you've already found, bringing it to the MAM, having it research stuff, and then boom, you've got a jetpack. And then you just have to build it in the equipment shed. And so sure enough, what I can do is I can use existing fuel, which in this case is what exactly is the official name for this? It's basically just packaged fuel. Okay, it's regular fuel just in a package. So I'm carrying a couple of gas cans, and I'm able to use that as fuel for the jetpack, and it works pretty well actually. It gives me long legs, figuratively speaking. It lets me go for quite a distance. And notice, okay, here's a nice little tip for dummies for getting around with the jetpack. I'm holding the space bar down, or I'm tapping the space bar. Think Flappy Bird. I know you've played Flappy Bird. So that's kind of how this works. Just kind of tap the space bar rather than holding it down. You'll burn through the fuel way too fast if you just hold it down. Now, when the unit, like it says we have 168 units of fuel, when that unit burns out, you can see the bar graph. It's sort of a bar graph in the lower left underneath the fuel icon. Once that bar depletes, it doesn't mean you immediately go to the next unit of fuel. That means that whatever's in the jetpack is expended, okay? And then you have to land, you have to touch your feet on the ground to refill the jetpack, and you'll see the bar will fill up again, and then you're full and you can go fart around some more. It takes a little bit of time to fill it up, so you can't just tap the ground and go right back up, but you can get some good coverage if you do it right. And there's another little tip for you, by the way. There's walking forward, you can see that pace, and then if you hit the shift key, you sprint. And then if you hit the space bar, you jump. Well, with the jetpack, in conjunction with that movement and a belt, you can actually pick up some quite a lot of speed. So, for example, without a belt, I could just, like I said, walk forward, then I can sprint, and then if I'm at a sprint, I will maintain that momentum as I fart through the sky. So that's a great way to cross great distances. But if you want to cross even greater distances before your fuel runs out, find a nice fast belt like this, okay? And now sprint on that belt and then tap the key, and you can cover quite a distance because, again, you're maintaining that momentum, so you can go for a long way. And then of course you have to make sure when you come out of the sky and you're falling, make sure you tap the space bar just before you hit the ground so you can withstand some of the fall damage, or not withstand it, but rather avoid fall damage altogether by slowing your fall. Okay, so if you remember last time we covered trains, and you look at the sky, so much has changed since then. Look way up there, see that train? We're gonna go visit that. Man, there's just so many things I want to cover, but I never seem to have enough time to cover them all. So many things. We're gonna talk a lot about trains, but let's kind of cover a couple of the things. If you remember, last episode got interrupted, okay? And I'm checking, I'm kind of freaking out, hoping that doesn't happen again, because a lot of good stuff got bleeped out, or rather the video got corrupted, the audio didn't. So I sat and listened to the audio, and I picked up some key points of the stuff that I was trying to cover. One of them, which we'll cover now, Trickle manufacturing. Okay, now what I mean by that, when I build a base, I tend to go in 3 stages. The first stage is I build this little bitty bootstrap base just to kind of get some basic base building materials up and running, and you see that's our original base there. Once I've got some basic materials done, like this base right here, I would consider like the first real base. Then we have to make some other more advanced materials, so we need a lot more space to make that happen. So that's when I built this, the sort of second stage production. And that second stage production isn't, I mean, it's for making some advanced materials, like, give you an example, like right over here, I've got electric motors, okay? That's kind of advanced. Not super advanced, but it's a complicated product. So it requires multiple stages of multiple ingredients, and it takes space to set that up. And some of the basic materials that go into it require great quantities of materials. So, oh man, okay, what is going on here? I forget. Oh right, we've got an iron, right, okay, iron ore, okay. So I've set up on this second stage of a base lots of, you know, for basic materials, I've got some scaled up production, like this iron smelting right there, okay? A lot more iron is being smelted than was on the original base. But there are very advanced materials like this motor, for example, like these motors. And over here, let's fart a little bit with the jetpack. Where is it? Right here. Computers. This was kind of the big one. Computers and reinforced frames. I only have one manufacturing machine. It's a 4-unit manufacturing machine here. It takes 4 ingredients and can spit out one product based on 4 ingredients. And I've got it building computers. And let's see, can I actually grab a stack of computers? I'm going to grab 2 stacks and I'll show you why. So this thing has been manufacturing computers at a relatively slow pace because the materials that are required, like the circuit board, for example, and screws, I just need so many screws that I just can't make these things in super quantities because so many things need screws and so many things need so many screws. I mean, this needs 52 screws. Boy, it sounds petty when you say it like that, but when you figure that in this, a unit of screws is this big bin right here, you see what I'm talking about? 52 of those are required for a single computer unit. So what I've done, rather than be like, oh, well, you know, I could grab the materials and go every once in a while, go over to a workbench and craft a computer, it is so much better to blow some money and some power and build this manufacturer. It's only one, and take the time to feed the materials in here. Now it's not putting these materials together very quickly, okay? But it is putting them together consistently. As long as I keep it supplied, it's going to keep building computers. It's already built 22 since we've been sitting here. So that's pretty cool. And what I was trying to get at last time is don't undervalue this, because we were going to set our sights on trains, and we did. Okay, if we look under transport, under electric motors, electric locomotive, look there, we need 5 computers to make it. We need, for train stations, we need 8 computers. Freight platforms, 2 computers. And also, look at all of the reinforced frames. All of them require reinforced frames. Reinforced frames, let's see if we call up that in our inventory right here, takes a complicated list, or I'm sorry, a variety of complicated materials, plus, imagine that, 100 units of screws per. So right there, that's a lot of stuff to put together, to gather up and handcraft when you've got so many other things to do. So on the other side of the base, if I get up here on this machine, on the other side of the base, near where a lot of the steel production is happening, you can just make out the machine over there. Let's see, and I'll zoom in. Right over there, you can see there's the manufacturer, and it's working on reinforced frames. Okay, it's not building them very fast, but it is in fact building them. So whenever possible, if you look ahead, realize, you know what, I'm going to need a lot of stuff to make this happen. I'm going to need computers, I'm going to need these reinforced frames. Set up a single manufacturing unit to just build them at a trickle. That's what I mean, trickle manufacture. I'm not manufacturing them in mass yet. That's going to come. That's part of what that huge base is up there for, to manufacture lots of things en masse. But to just give yourself the ability to make trains and have a reasonable, considerable quantity of computers available. You know, if you want to set up a rail network for a particular product. Okay, if you're like, man, I want to get this quartz from, you know, way over here to way over here, but I'm gonna need, let's see, I'm gonna need a train, I'm gonna need 2 train stations and 8 freight platforms or whatever. Well, you can reach over here, and since this thing has been working faithfully in the background, Trickle manufacturing these computers, you probably have 3 or 4 stacks available to you, which is more than enough. And same for the reinforced frames. So yeah, Trickle manufacturing. Now to that on that note, not to that end, but on that note, take a look in our upper right. You see we have our phase 3 space elevator milestone that we've sort of been dormant on. We've been letting it sit there, do nothing. Well, no more. So during the off-camera time, I've went ahead and set up a couple of manufacturers that are Trickle manufacturing the necessary ingredients. The modular engines, they're being slowly manufactured, which I had to reboot smart plating production again. So I actually rebuilt. Actually, I doubled up too. Because we do need a bunch of them, I went ahead and set up a couple of manufacturing machine assemblers. The 2 units are assemblers, and the 4 units are manufacturers. Okay, so I set up this assembler, 2 of them in fact, to make smart plates, and those smart plates are being fed into this machine here, and this machine here, just by itself, is working on these modular engines, and we only need 500 of them. That's not a whole lot, okay? But we may end up upping production. Let me see. Did I actually? Okay, I have not. I've found slugs, but I need to make some power shards and pop those suckers in there. Okay. And now this one over here should be manufacturing the 3rd item, which is, or I'm sorry, the 2nd item rather, the adaptive control unit. We only need 100 of them, but slowly but surely they're being manufactured. Oh, by the way. Okay, we need 100, and in order to make 100 of them, or in order to make one, it requires 2 computers. That's why I grabbed that stack of computers. So let's see, which one of these is computers? I think it's this one. Yep. Okay. Dink, dink. So let's see. There's 50, 100. You know, about 120, we'll say, and 170. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably have to add another stack of computers. That's fine. But anyway, we've only need 100 of those. We should be good. And then finally, the 3rd item that we need, and we should be more than good on, if I'm not mistaken, are these modular frames? Is that what they're called? What the hell are they called? I can't just scroll up there and look at them, but I've went ahead and filled a couple of containers with them. They are versatile frameworks. Okay, we need 2,500 of them, and let me see, each of these containers here has, let's see, 24, 48, so 2,400, and then 2 more stacks, which we've more than got. So we've got our 2,500. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm actually going to shut this off. Okay, did I have room for that, to carry that? Okay, cool. I'm going to take these extra. I just got 5 dropped in my lap here. Where's the awesome sink? Okay, these are worth a lot of points, as we've discovered before. I'm just going to take these and drop them right in there, and that'll boost the awesome sink a little bit. And now what we'll do is we'll take these and we're going to build a belt that goes all the way over to space elevator. So I'm going to go ahead and make that happen. And by the way, I'm not going to use a very fast belt. It doesn't have to be. We're not looking at some trying to manufacture things or meeting quotas. We just need to get these 2,500 frames that have already been manufactured over to the space elevator. So let's make that happen. Doesn't have to happen fast. Believe me, by the time we've created all the ingredients needed to complete the space elevator's milestone challenge there, these 2,500 versatile framework units will already be there. Whether we use a fast belt or not, they'll be there. Okay, final connection there, and now we start seeing our numbers increase. Now, something I did do, maybe you have not noticed. Did I have this up and running in the last episode? I'm not certain I did. This network of hypertubes. Again, somebody asked about the hypertubes, and I gotta tell you, absolutely, make them go anywhere you like. Don't be bashful about it. You're wondering which choice was better, to manufacture everything in one place or make hypertubes. Oh, come on, hypertubes are just so much fun. Besides, if you try to build everything in one place, that means you constantly have to build up, tear down, build up, tear down. No, I don't mind moving around some. So anyway, I've increased my network of hypertubes, which we'll talk about, but there's also... Where is the Explorer? Dora, the Explorer. Okay, right here. I want to see, do we have... Yes, we have a power slug in it. Oh, and we also have hog remains. Okay, hog remains can go over here. Right? Hog proteins, yes. Which will be turned into alien DNA, which will go into the awesome sink. And the power slugs, we're going to turn those into power shards. Okay. Well, what I'd like to do, see, we got nothing left to research. We have to go ahead and knock out those milestone requirements. Do I have any in here? I do not. But I do have this Mercer sphere. This Mercer sphere, I don't know exactly what it's going to end up being worth, but I'm going to put it in this box with the rest of the garbage. I'm going to have to check all my chests and stuff, because it's very possible I just dropped the power slugs that I found into just random chests around the base. Okay, what about here? Anything? Oh, but you know what is here are some of the smart plates I made before. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them over here. Yeah. Bing. Where's the other one? Oh, right there. Okay. Okay, yep, 3 stacks of smart plates. All right, let's go, and I want to show you some of the other stuff I've put together. Can see the underside of the base has grown little bits. Okay, train stations. So, fuel. I've got fuel being delivered here. So we don't just have, let's say we got fuel residue coming. I haven't really used that for anything just yet, but we will. In fact, you know what? The MAM. Can we do anything at the MAM? Holy crap. Oh, train. Wow. I've just pulled a Factorio there. Dang. Alright, can I actually make a MAM and set it up right here? I'm not sure I can. Oh, maybe I can. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, don't think you can't have multiple MAMs. Alright, let's go to sulfur. Okay, is there anything that requires... Oh, smokeless powder. Yes, we're going to talk about smokeless powder, too. Power slugs, no. Quartz. Blade runners. Oh, yes. Oh, man, I forgot about them, too. Okay. Nutrients, mycelia. No. Oh, right there. Okay, so synthetic polyester fabric. We can use the residue for that. Okay. Trying to remember all of these things. The residue has a function. We can use it for things, but I haven't really explored those uses. These supercomputers, that's another thing we're going to work on at some point. Alright, yep, that one's completed. Okay, so yes, for various uses I've got fuel, mostly for the jetpack that we're using. In fact, that's full now. Let's go ahead and top off to 200. And yeah, the fuel residue. So that's one of the 3 train stations here. Oh, stop it. Let's get on top of the train station. I want to show you the layout of the tracks here. It's pretty crazy. So This little area here, we've got 3 train stations that come down at this hill. This has now become a terminus. This whole thing has just become a terminus. 3 stations, and this is just the end of the line for this part of the train. So I've got quartz and something else being delivered over there. We've got the first train we ran was rubber and plastic being delivered right there. We can see plastic going out to its destination. Now the quartz, I'm already just again trickle producing, if you will. Just it's there for me to grab, but quartz crystal. So turning the raw quartz into crystal. That is actually coming from, let's take a look at the map. Now, I don't know if I fully explained that, but with the map, it shows where all the resources are within a certain range. So that is a very cool thing, but we've got a radar tower here, and for some reason the quartz is not showing up, but it is over here somewhere, and it's at this train station right here. It's picking up quartz and caterium. Oh, that's right. So this is full of caterium, which what we need to do is turn into caterium wire, quick wire, whatever it's called. So that's one thing we can do. But there's more. These train stations right here are just to operate this second stage base here, okay? They're not really meant for quantity. They're just kind of meant to help sustain us with some rare materials. But using the hypertube system that we've got, I'm going to go ahead and continue on our hypertube way to the big platform, and I'll show you what I'm doing up there. Okay, this is the big platform. All right, we've seen this before, but now I'm starting to bring trains onto it. Okay, let's see if we can get on up here before I can run out of fuel. Okay, so this train here continues on to the oil fields that we've got set up so far, plus a couple of other places. And as you can see up there, I set a branch of track that comes off and feeds a couple of train stations. We're going to kind of talk over that a little bit. Now, I've also set up one of our traffic circles right over there, and there's an offshoot, okay, that one continues down the hill, one continues in that direction toward the oil fields, but then a third direction, it goes off, and it actually goes toward a place where you can barely make out there. If I scan with the P button over there, that is a spot on the map where sulfur and coal. There's sulfur and coal in that area. If we take a look, let's see, get rid of P, take a look at the map, and over here, what we're looking at is this area right here. There's, using the radar, I located the sulfur and the coal, and I've got the sulfur and coal being mixed into black powder. So there's a train that is picking up that black powder and bringing it down to the oil fields where it's being mixed with heavy residual oil, and that is being produced into smokeless powder. And smokeless powder, that's what this train is carrying right here. So, okay, this train, let's go for a ride in this train, okay? This train has got, it's carrying, oh, nope. Okay, can't tell when it's doing the docking procedure. Okay, you can't actually access the train when it's doing the docking. But this is an important train because it's a train that actually functions with 3 traffic stops. At this stop, the second car back, or the last car back, is smokeless powder. It just dropped off smokeless powder. So now the train, in theory, is empty. It's actually got some stuff in it because all the train stations are full. And it's going to follow this track, and we're going to go to where black powder is being produced. Here you can get a better look, overall look at our first and second stage bases here. Pretty impressive, I think. Looks pretty awesome. And another traffic circle here in anticipation of having to go over that hill. But I've set it up, just thinking ahead. I just know what's coming. Plus, there's a traffic circle ahead of us because we are going to have to continue in the east direction to find some other resources. Okay, so this train, this stop, it only picks up black powder. That's it. So what I've done is I've actually, just as sort of a placeholder, I used a, let's see if I can look at it. Let's see, transport, a empty platform, okay? There's nothing here, but this platform right here has black powder. Okay, now the black powder is about to be unloaded onto the train, or it's not. Okay, technically it's docking, but the station is full. Okay, so really the only car I have to interact with is the first car. Okay, the first carriage, if you're from the UK, is the only car that matters. So that second car can remain empty or full at that station, it doesn't matter. So what I'm trying to show you is a way that you can use a train to sort of do multiple tasks rather than simply going, picking up at one station, dropping off at the next. It can do multiple functions at different freight stations, different train stations. So now this train, if we look at, go to Q, and we go to our timetable, now it's coming to the black powder drop, which is also the smokeless powder pickup. But so that station is near the oil fields, and it's going to head there. It's going to drop off a load of black powder. At the same time, it's going to pick up a load of smokeless powder. Okay, here we come into this intersection right here, which I had to totally redesign. Okay, signalization is really important. So notice we stopped because another train had basically gotten to the intersection before we did. So it stopped us, the signalization stopped us. And you see where I've set up my signals? Basically, as I said last time, the entire traffic circle is one signalization block. And this, we're entering another signalization block. Basically, this whole triangle right there is one block. So only one train is allowed in that block at a time. Keeps traffic jams from happening. But I'm going to tell you something. Never put two traffic blocks, how do I put this, right next to each other. That traffic block that includes both sides of the track. I mean, where traffic on one track can stop traffic on the opposite direction. You just got to be careful. Okay, let's see, that's the quartz stop right there. That's where the quartz gets picked up along with the caterium. We're going to head to the oil fields. We're going to talk about the oil fields a little bit. Man, it looks so impressive. You haven't been here in a little while. Okay, so I've got this traffic circle right here. Now, if you want to take the train and pause it and you're riding, all you have to do is hit E when you're next to the train and you'll hop into it. We're going to go ahead and turn off the self-drive. Once it starts docking, we're going to turn off self-driving. Okay, so it starts to dock, but it's not going to dock because everything's full. So let's turn off self-driving. Let's exit the train. So now the train will just sit there. Now, can we actually... We probably can't look at this, can we? Oh, yeah, we can. Okay, so the back car is loaded with smokeless powder. So, and then this car right here is loaded with black powder. The black powder normally would come off of here into this freight platform right here and would get sent via this belt over to the refineries over... Is it over there? I think it's over there that make the black powder. We'll take a look. Or that make the smokeless powder. And then the smokeless powder will come back to this station. I want to show you something which I meant to show you in the previous episode, but it got bleeped out. This slider right here, this platform, you can change the settings at each platform, okay? Like that one, this one says unload. So this platform knows that when the train comes in, its job is to unload. And you can see these little arrowheads here on the side? And you got striations on this port right here, okay? 1, 2, 3. That means it's an inlet. But over here, there's like this sort of futuristic looking arrowhead. That means it's an outlet. So when something is unloaded, it's going to come out these two ports. When something is uploaded, you upload it into these two ports. Does that make sense? So the slide is set to unload, so these ports become active and will download whatever is in these cars. In this case, The black powder is put into this freight platform, and then whenever space is available, it will download into this port. And then from here, it goes over to the refineries, gets, you know, through the process, gets turned into smokeless powder, and the smokeless powder gets loaded into the into the same train. And then the next stop on the train is where we picked it up in the first place, was to go, was where it just drops off the black powder. And the reason I'm having it dropped off there is because I want it to make a steady supply of exploding rebar. Have you ever seen a rebar gun? Have I showed you this thing? Normally it just shoots these pieces of steel, but in this case, they explode. That is freaking cool. So we don't even need to carry this thing, because we can explode them with our rebar gun. It has the same effect, has the same power. All right, let's go take a look at this thing here. Is this what it is right here? Nope, this is making rubber and heavy oil residue. Okay, rubber, that's good, because we need rubber as well. Also, where's the smokeless powder being made? Is it here? No, oh, it's over here, over here. Got it. So these refineries are making smokeless powder. They take black powder and heavy oil residue, which is being produced here. And heavy oil residue can be turned into fuel. It can be turned into black powder. It can be helped to make other stuff. So this thing should be loaded with black or smokeless powder. Yeah, that's good. So this is our manufacturing of smokeless powder. This is all the smokeless powder we'll probably ever need. So that's what this base is going to do for us, probably for the rest of the game. And this one here, what does it do? Okay, it's just rubber, and it makes the rubber, but it makes the heavy oil residue that we need for the smokeless powder. Okay, now I've got these fuel lines right here that are full of fuel, and I've got some refineries. Their only purpose is to make fuel with a little bit of I'm trying to remember what the residue is. I'd have to look at the recipe. Where is it? Okay, yeah, it turns heavy oil residue into fuel, and that fuel is powering these fuel power plants. And we can see by our power pole here that we're consuming a lot, almost 3,000 megawatts or 3 gigawatts, but we're producing almost 5,000 megawatts. We're in good shape. So this is kind of a way you can really increase the size of your factory, is get fuel or turn fuel into power by using these power plants, which we talked about in the previous episode. I think it was, I want to say Mark IV manufacturing or something, Mark IV technology. And you can see a whole bunch of fuel plants over there. I've also got this station over here. I've got a small machine down there. Let's see, those refineries down there, I've got a little bit of extra from those refineries. A little bit of extra residue that I'm turning into fuel, which is powering that fuel power plant right there. But it's also, where is it? I can't see it. It is supplying fuel to a packager down there. Can you see it? It's... we'll take a look. Okay, got a packager right there, which is taking some extra fuel and some extra plastic, which is being turned into empty containers. It's taking the fuel in empty containers, packaging them into packaged fuel, which we've seen. That's what I'm using on the jetpack. So I've got a small supply, doesn't have to be great, being produced there. Initially you kind of need it for research purposes, but now that you've got the jetpack, now that we've got this, you almost don't even need the fuel for much else. And then the fuel and a small sampling of the residue is being picked up by this train over here. And then it's being brought to the stage 2 platform that we've been working from. So let's go back to the main base, and I want to show you where I'm at. Before we go, almost forgot, if you're going to shut down a train temporarily, make sure you turn it back. You know what? Let's take the train back. The train wants to go back there, so let's go ahead, hit Q, turn on self-driving. All right, now this stop right here, as you can see, since the only railroad car we need to interact with is the second one to remove the smokeless powder, this car needs no interaction at this station anyway. This platform, we just put an empty platform right here. No need to do anything more than that. All right, now notice we've got this other train station here. Okay, it's taken off. Now this, it's just a locomotive. And that locomotive, it's going to be our personal transport. And this is just going to be the main stop. So anytime we need to get to this base from places far afield, we can use this train to do it. This locomotive, and this will be the stop that we temporarily put in. What we would do is we'd hop in and hit Q. We would edit timetable. We'd pick a station that we want to go to. Now we want to have a list of, like, in fact, I want to call this like main bus stop, and we'll have a bus stop for different stages of manufacturing around the map, and we can get there using this thing, and then just hit, you know, we could just go, let's see, you know what, let's actually change the name right now. Main bus stop. Okay, so this is the main bus stop. We would go to our timetable, Q, edit the timetable. We would add, see, is it even listed here? Go ahead, we'd add main bus stop if that's where we were trying to go, or let's say we want to go to the fuel residue drop. So we would delete that, fuel residue drop, and then save the changes, and then we would, let's see, save the changes, and we would turn on our self-driving, but we're not going to do that right now. So let's edit the timetable, we'll take this sucker off, and or we can attempt to manually drive the train, but you really don't want to do that. Let the computer do it for you. It's so much easier. You can just sit back and relax while you go to the next stop. So anyway, that's waiting in anticipation of having a system like that in place. So what I've done here is I've actually set up these two train stations right here. They both have trains, a locomotive, and 4 carriages that are in those stations that are sitting there doing nothing right now. This is a copper ore drop, and that station over there is going to be the iron ore drop. In fact, I think I've already labeled it. Can't really see it right now, but it's there. And this is going to be where all copper and iron ore get dropped off. And I've actually started to create another level on this platform, and notice lots of smelting machines. And what okay, this is just for copper right here. Most of what you can see right here is for copper. And it's idle right now. It's not being used. Over here is the iron side. Right there. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm gonna take these apart and rebuild them. Okay. And that completes all the containers for all the copper and all the iron. Now, for one train, it's going to deposit enough to get all of these things going initially. Now, these things are set up right now to accommodate the output of, let's see, let me think. Let me see if I did the math on this one right. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 12, 24, and it's 3 apiece, so 720 a minute. This can handle 720 ore a minute. This quarter of them, this arrangement of belts right here, and this battery of smelters can handle 720, and the fastest belt goes 780 units per minute. So that's what's going to happen here. When we finally get that Mark V belt, this thing will be able to handle everything the Mark V belt can throw at it. Right now, it's laughing at the Mark IV belt, which I think, what is it? Is the Mark IV belt 600 units per minute? No, it's 480. Okay. Yeah, so I think the Mark V belt is like 700 something units per minute. And I've got, and each railroad car is going to have that level of attention. Okay, so each railroad car of ore is going to have its contents processed at a rate of 720 per minute. That's the goal. So I've got the infrastructure set up. The only thing left now is to actually set up train stations to pick up that ore. And that's something I'd kind of like to do. If we take a look at the map, so we've got iron ore and copper ore over here, but I think I'm actually going to end up belting that directly into the base. Let's see. But over in this area right here, these where we found these hard drives earlier, it actually was over here where the that video crashed. There is a crap ton of ore. In fact, I think what we'll do this episode is we're going to go there and we're going to set up a radar tower, maybe a couple of radar towers, and we're going to see what kind of materials are there that we can exploit. And we won't be able to exploit them today because a lot of time has been used up, but we will at least know where we're headed. But this is the beginning of global level productions of ore. So we're gonna, I've used to process the ore on site before, but I kind of wanted to try a mass production of ore ingots, of iron ingots, of copper ingots right here in a central place, and just have the ore brought into this place. I want to try that. But again, first, let's see if we can get the materials together for a radar tower. Let's take a look and see. Do we have them? We may not have them. Okay, we're gonna have to make some quartz. Okay, so we're gonna have to make some crystal oscillators, 60 of them. So let's see if we can get the materials together to do that. So we're gonna actually go down to the quartz train station. And in order to do that, I think I've actually set up tubes over here. Okay. Again, and you know what? I would not be opposed to setting up hyper tubes that go around this platform, just from one spot on this platform to another. I'm okay with that. Okay, let's see where we're at for inventory materials. Okay, now I have a power shard on me. Let's see. Let's go ahead. 1, 2, grab those. Okay, does this have a power shard? No, it doesn't. But you know what? We could throw a power shard in here. Or it doesn't have room for a power shard, I should say. Let's see. Okay, we've got 59 motors that we need 500 of. And we've got almost 100. We've got 58 out of 100 of the adaptive control units. So that tells me we're closer to having the adaptive control units. We need much more of the modular engine, so that is where our power shard is going to go. Boom. Okay. Ideally, we want 60 of them. Now, there's some floating around in some crates that we've got. We should check those out. Okay, what are we going to run out of? What are we short on? We're short on the wire. Interesting. Okay, we'll get some more wire. And, let's see. Do we have any here? No. Yes. 7 of them. If this crate over here has any, I think this one might have a couple. Might have 2. Yep, 2. Exactly 2. So that gives us a total of 27. 4 crystal oscillators we can make. Okay. We can make 1 radar tower with that. Okay, why is this not producing anything? Why is there no raw quartz in this bad boy? Okay, it is no, it's just not producing any. Why is it not producing any? Has it ever produced any? No. Is this even connected? Oh, because there's still caterium in there. I can make 10 more crystal oscillators. Actually, no, I need 19 more. Okay, so the radar tower, what do I need? Do I have everything? I have enough to make 1. because I used up my copper. Well, that's okay, because we gotta head this way anyway. We'll grab some copper coil, or grab some cable, but we'll also grab the Explorer that's sitting in the grass. Or sitting over here. That's right, it was sitting over here somewhere. By the way, if you notice, we've reached our objective on versatile frames. So we're good there. Wire. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I want to make sure I have plenty of wire, because we're actually... I want to do something else as well. How much for these power towers? Okay, let's grab some actual copper cable while we're here. Okay. Because we have to run power out to the radar towers as well, we might as well have the ability to run that power. Okay, so we're coming over here under the oil fields so that we can actually set up some power output here. Let's go ahead and grab that. Bring it over here. And let's set up our big power tower. We're going to set that right up here. And we're going to energize it. And now we're going to get back to shore, but we kind of got to backtrack a little bit. The way we came. Get back to the mainland. There we go. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier. Right? Yes. And it should mimic the tower. There we go. Okay. See how far we can aim this bad boy. About there. Not gonna look pretty. So I'm quite sure, if I remember my previous games, there's a lot of... Oops. Are these guys back? Oh, I thought I killed these guys. Dadgummit. Alright, let's take this tower right here. And we're going to stretch it over in this direction, because I'm quite sure we've got some resources over here. And we'll set up a tower there. Yes, in fact, we're standing amongst resources right here, as you can probably see. Oh, okay. Those guys aren't terribly dangerous, but they will wreck you in mass. Now here's how you can take these bad boys out close in. In case you're curious. You let them attack the car. You're going to get out on the right side. Oops, hang on. Okay. Where's my thingy? Okay. Whoop. Oops, he got me. Okay, get out. And then... There you go. That usually works pretty well. Alright, so, tower. There, gotcha. Alright, let's set up a radar tower. Organization, radar tower, and we'll set this bad boy up right there, and we can tap off power from this at the base. There's actually one that says 4 below. So let's attach it, and now that's energized, and now hit the map and look what's in the area. So we've got all kinds of limestone formations, we've got copper ore, we've got iron ore. We are pretty well stacked there, so let's actually take that. We're going to set up another tower way over here, I think, if we can, just so we get a good idea of what's in the area. So let's aim on that. We're going to aim toward the east. Actually, you know what we can do? Is this thing doesn't have a... Here's one thing we can do with these towers. Go to electric. You can build a platform tower. And this kind of helps. It doesn't cost any more, but it helps a little bit with organization, because you can sit up here and you can shoot a tower to the next location. And And that's to the east. Closer. Okay, where are we on the map? A little ways to go. Haven't seen you guys in a little while. Okay, where are we at? Okay, let's see if we can stretch this a little farther along. I see green stuff, but that might not be dangerous to us just yet. Alright, where are we at? Okay, this is a good place to set up another tower. Right there. Let's bring it right to there. Alright. Look at what we've got. We've got coal over here. We've got a bunch of iron. We've got quartz. Okay. We've got copper ore. Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff that we can use here. Purity is normal, 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 normal. Please tell me that's pure. Yes. Okay. So we can set up steel production here, and we've got even more over here. Oh, excellent. Okay. Cool beans. Cool beans. Oh, another thing. We don't have... Okay, we don't really have the ability to search for much more than that. Okay. I was gonna say, because geothermal is a thing we can start to look for, but we, it's not showing up on our map yet. Okay. Well, anyway, hopefully this gives you an idea of where we're headed. We've run kind of long, but hopefully I can whittle it down to a manageable length again, or at least attempt to again. But yeah, so we've covered the, again, extended use of radar towers. We've used these larger power poles to cover great distances. We've shown how we go from a stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 base. You know, we're just getting started on stage 3 base. Covered a couple of details about trains. Yeah, so we've got quite a lot covered. So hopefully this makes sense to y'all. Hopefully you learned something, and if you have, you know, comments and we'll talk about it. If you have questions, put them in the comments, and hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Sure helps me out. I'd like to get some exposure, I ain't gonna lie. But, ooh, missed that enemy over there. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one when we'll start tapping these resources. Y'all have a wonderful day. Ciao.